So the Bay Area Video Coalition, BAVC, I'm just going to say BAVC, it's kind of how we're known, it's shorter. We're here in San Francisco, and I'm here to talk to you about our newest venture called Fuse. And Fuse is an online platform where we hope to bring what we've been doing for many years successfully and generate about $2 million annually in revenue online. And it's this online portal which is around assessment, training, portfolio development, and job placement. We're a 32-year-old organization, but the last 11 years we've been the leading digital media trainer in the state of California for industry. Really what to know about BAVC is, we see ourselves as a creative pipeline from community to industry. And we've been doing that consistently for many, many, many years. So I always give the description of, we teach incarcerated youth, digital media and music, and we also support Oscar-winning films and public broadcasting. So we're in many, many spaces at the same time, and we take great pride in that. And I think that's a key piece to why we think we can be an effective provider of online training. We have 240 of the leading companies in the world, based on our geography here in proximity to Silicon Valley, who we train. So these are incumbent employees of these companies. The mix here is critical. So we have Adobe employees taking Apple applications in-house. We have Apple employees taking Adobe applications. So they're trying to learn about their competitors. We have Pixar employees teaching our Photoshop class. But what's most critical in this piece is our direct contact is not to the CEOs of these companies. That'd be nice, but it's not. It's to the HR departments. We work very closely with HR at these companies to both move their employees into professional development opportunities and training, but also to construct classes that matter to them. And so the last 3 or 4 years, we've been explicitly focused with these HR relationships on developing classes that actually meet their employment needs. Because we've learned a couple of things. There are not enough skilled workers, right? Despite the economy, despite the context in which we're talking about right now, there are not enough people to fill these jobs. And it's particularly true for entry-level employees. So that's really, really critical. And just really quickly, because I don't have much time, AKQA, I'm just going to point out a couple. It's one of the leading interactive ad agencies in the world. A lot of people haven't heard about them because they just basically produce these commercials online. The other pieces that's not up here are the folks like Wells Fargo and Safeway. So you have banking companies and grocery store chains who have robust digital media entities inside of their corporations, and they're getting trained as well. So these aren't just jobs for the glamorous Pixar placements, but these are job opportunities in the digital media industry, and we value all of those. So why this model Fuse and why us? Because of this relationship with HR that I mentioned, we've been carefully constructing classes that actually mirror real life. So we're not asking people to give up a semester to enroll fully. We're not asking them to spend 3 or 4 weeks in training. Our classes at the longest are 3 days. Most are 2 days. They're intensive. So they're really meant to accommodate people going after the class, going back home, going to work the next day and resuming their lives. The impact piece is really important. That's why we're here. So I mentioned sort of the creative pipeline from community to industry. The other piece that's really critical here is that we fundamentally believe, because we're a media arts organization at our core, we're about storytelling. But what we fundamentally believe is that there's a new basic social competency, and that's digital media. So it's a broad thing. But it's key to actually participating in society. And what we're seeing with these jobs that are available is that there hasn't been enough education overall. There hasn't been enough transition in the K-12 environment to actually funnel creative talent into the workplace. So there's an opportunity here. And one quick example is this model that I'm going to be talking about. We're in partnership right now with the Louisiana State Department of Education, with Chicago Public Schools. We want to actually seed world-class training in the K-12 environment and not just focus on college and industry. It should be everywhere. Okay, so this looks like there's a time here. That's super helpful. This is not a website. All this is to sort of illustrate components of what we hope to create. And this is where the investment is, right? So we've got $2 million in revenue right now. We're roughly netting, we take back, after everything's accounted for, about 18%, 20%. So it's profitable. But we're serving only, in our minds, 6,000 students right now, in person, physically. We want to move this online. We want to make sure that we have assessment, training, portfolio development, and job placement in one place where people can remotely access. We want to have synchronous, asynchronous services, and I'm about to talk about the infrastructure this all lies upon so that we can actually support mentoring online, streaming of classes, multicasting, all the things that are necessary to really scale. But we think around a $700,000 investment, $300,000 which is to create this platform, $400,000 around fixed costs, which include marketing, but primarily staff capacity, we could be serving tens of thousands in just a short time, 18 to 24 months. So who, what, how? Really what's important here is that we have an existing community we're serving. And we're building all of this capacity, or this potential for revenue rather, around new capacity that we have, and it's called fiber optic networks. It's basically a really fast internet. So we're on a 10 gig backbone, and it instantly connects us because it's on these research education networks that already exist nationally and globally. It connects us to hundreds and thousands actually of K-12 and or K-20 institutions. So that's how we're actually able to send curriculum dynamically from San Francisco to the Louisiana State Department of Education that ultimately goes all the way down to Karen Crowe High School in Lafayette. It can go instantly, and we can support real-time instruction there. So we're talking about being able to reach brand new communities online, offer streaming courses, offer value-added packages that are around widgets that emerge from new or existing applications, and that's kind of where the asterisks are. Just for sake of time, I'm going to keep plowing through here. The competition snapshot, again, right now our business is based on in-person services. And so we have a number of local competitors listed. What's different here is, again, we're not asking you to spend $30,000 and give up 6 months of your life and enroll as a college student again. Most of us don't want to go back to school. What we're really talking about is the impact and the value around that. So we are affordable. We're not as cheap as City College. But when you're talking about taking 3 specific classes that Dolby has articulated and said we have 5 positions open around, and you're spending $800 per class, that's ultimately cheaper than enrolling as a full-time student. It's a more effective, efficient, direct line into employment. And then our ties to industry are what's really critical. And we've really nursed this relationship with industry because these employees have had good experiences with us, and that's given us the confidence to really come back and say, now let's work directly in cahoots to create a pipeline for you. Scalability, again, this is this idea that, and this is a little sloppy, but to the left there, that vertical, 2009 is 2008, so these are existing strands for us. We think the in-person has great potential. We think the consumer has great potential, but the cost of acquisition for them is, one, it's an unknown as time goes on because our competitors' costs may shift and ways in which we access new audiences might change. But also it's really difficult because they're not part of an existing community. So really the low-hanging fruit for us is government and universities. And then an exit strategy. I think this is important because we've been doing this for 11 years. And almost every year we have an offer to get bought out. And we've just begun to really assess our true value. We know that we're making money. It's been growing every single year for us. But $100,000 offers to turn over our membership and 300 courses that are fully developed and built with industry and partnership is worth a lot more. But ultimately, we're open to partnership. And 2 options that we foresee in the next few years, if successful, is to be bought out with some level of multiplication around that, or to have an equity stake and simply hand over what we're doing, but then share some of that revenue. Because, again, we're a storytelling organization. Whatever supports generating unrestricted revenue that can support grants for artists and filmmakers and expand our footprint in communities is really what we want to do. So we're going to stay true to our mission around that. I'm going to skip this piece and just say thank you to Zero Divide. The one note around capacity is we are an organization of artists, we are educators, and the team we've constructed has direct experience from industry as well. So, thank you.